just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, ChristopherBlodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. This week's topic, relationship or friendship, give and take. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. Been an interesting week as always. It's actually Sunday morning, technically at the time of this recording. So it's my day 6. I'm probably I'll be like 40 minutes away from the hub I'm dropping at. Easier night tonight. I actually did my usual load to St. Louis, and it was really weird actually because usually when I have like a regular FedEx trailer, when I pull in the hub, because they have like GPSs and stuff, so sometimes you'll pull into the hub and it'll automatically arrive you. So you'll like go to arrive on the app or whatever. You get a message. You may have been arrived by geofence. Oh, okay. So then you're free to check in. You'll check in again and see your next load or whatever. Because if you hadn't arrived, then it would actually show when you try to check in. It would show that like you're not located at this hub. I'm like, okay, well yeah I am. I don't know what's going on, but I checked in, didn't have a load assignment in there, so I went ahead and found a spot, dropped the loaded trailer, pulled up to a different spot to because I had to use the bathroom. Ran in there and did what I had to do, and then when I walked around to the line haul office, basically was like, hey guys, and because I think it's one guy that works there late at night or whatever. I think I like finally got a name, or we kind of like put names to faces like last week or something. He's like, oh, so you're Blodgett. I'm like, yes sir. He goes, Michael. I was like, good, put my name to a face, or a face to a name. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, I was like, I might not remember your name, but now I might because I've dealt with him twice now. So, but I was like, yeah, just checking in with you guys, just see what you guys got going back or whatever. And he's like, one of the guys was like, I didn't even know you're here because like it didn't alert me at all. Like it didn't even show us that you're en route. I was like, yeah, when I pulled in, it would let me hit arrive because it said that I was arrived by geofence or whatever. He was like, oh yeah, cause it didn't alert me at all. So I was like, well, did it arrive the trailer I brought in? They're like, that's a good question. So they checked. They're like, yeah, it's showing that it's here waiting to be unloaded. I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, so who knows what happened with the truck arrival? Because that's just kind of interesting. But like, well, we have you and one other guy, and so we have these 2 trailers, one going to Lenexa and one going to Denver. We could send as a set going to Lenexa with with one of you guys, and then there's this there's a 53 footer. It's a hot load that's been here. They looked it up. They're, how long has this been here? It's a relay, whatever. Oh crap, it's been here like 14. It's been here like 14 hours, just sitting here in the yard, and it needs to get to Kansas City. Like, so which one do you want to do? And I was like, well, I actually park. Like, I shut down in Kansas City, and they're really like, yeah, I do this St. Louis run and go back to Lennox, and then I bobtail over to Kansas City unless they have a load going that way. But otherwise, I bobtail back, I park. I said, because I live out there near like the Blue Springs area. I said, oh, okay. I was like, so if I have a choice, I'll take the one going to KCMO, whatever. All right, sounds good. He was like, but I mean, doesn't that affect your mileage though? I was like, yeah, a little bit. I was like, but I don't know. I was like, I work 6 days. I really don't have a lot of free time at all. Much downtime at all. That's why some nights I'll run a little bit later, because I might end up at St. Louis a little bit longer than I want to be there, because I might have to take care of some stuff online. Especially when I get paid Thursday night, it's like I might log on and pay a bill or move money around, or like this week I was trying to get some orders pushed through Thursday night instead of wait till Friday morning, like for our pups farmer's dog order or whatever. Usually I order it Friday when I get paid for like the 2 weeks. Been doing it for a 2-week order instead of the full month. I keep telling them, hey, I'm gonna do a 2-week right now, then next week I'll call you and I'll do a month, so that way I'll be a little extra time, but then I haven't done it yet. So the last couple orders have been, yeah, I'm gonna order 2 weeks at the tail end of when we're getting the last few packs of food. And normally I order Friday, and it'd be like Monday, all of a sudden be like, your order's being prepared. Then Tuesday, your order's shipped, and then Wednesday it gets delivered because they overnight it. They freeze it and package it in like a cooler with like a bunch of insulation or whatever. So it's still frozen when we get it, but since I ordered Thursday night, thankfully somebody responded to the text message. So it's like, I was like, hey, I don't know if you guys are working tonight. Trying to see if I can push an order through, because it's like Amazon. I love Amazon, don't get me wrong, but what I hate about Amazon is that you can order something and sometimes it won't charge you for a while. Like, I think I ordered an item on Amazon and it said it wasn't going to ship for like 2 weeks, and so I didn't, nothing hit my card. And then I think when we got closer to that time, all of a sudden it said, yeah, your payment didn't go through. I'm like, yeah, because I ordered this like 2 weeks ago and I didn't know when you're gonna try and bill me. So with Farmer's Dog, it's the same thing. Like, I guess when they're gonna start preparing your food for your dog, then they probably charge a card. But I'm able to have like a text number that I'm able to communicate with them, which is pretty awesome. I love there's companies out there that you can have orders like that, and you can actually like communicate with them directly versus like, hey, I have to call this 800 number to try to deal with somebody. So I always a text. I have it saved in my phone. I have it the conversation pinned in my messages, so it's like always one of the ones that's up top. And I just messaged him, like, hey, would you guys be able to push an order through if I unlock my card? I need to do the 2 week, blah blah blah. Yeah, just let us know when to do it. All right, cool, it's unlocked. Go ahead, and then I'll get the Venmo alert. Farmer's Dog charge, blah blah blah. Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, your order went through, and it should arrive between such and such date. I'm like, all right, sweet. So since I did it Thursday night, I needed to have it by like Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. And since I did it Thursday night, they were like, your order will arrive between Saturday and Monday. I'm like, oh, cool. I was like, that's quick. And I was like, so then Friday it was, your order's being prepared, and then Friday afternoon, your order shipped. You're gonna get it by like Saturday night by 9 o'clock. Oh, wow, cool. I was like, I was on top of that. All right, awesome. So, but had one of those moments, guys, because end of my night, end of my week, I'm tired. So of course I'm like, where was I going with that? But but I guess I just mentioned about the card not going through right away, so having to call them and have them push through. But so anyway, since I'm like, don't know what the point was with that. I'm sorry, I'm tired. someday, someday pretty soon, because I think I got some things in the works to try to grow the show. Got involved with a company that's doing a website, and they do articles that based on each episode, and to actually get in front of people online that like people that are searching for things that are being talked about or whatever, like basically like SEO and Google type stuff, like actually becoming visible online. And I talked to somebody on this platform, I think probably either one of the owners or whatever. They messaged because they were surprised I partially created my account. I hadn't actually fully subscribed, but I created a login. They're like, we see that you haven't actually like fully subscribed, and we also see that your show isn't a brand new show. We see you have over 200 episodes. We think we could really, like, with what the things that we do, like with creating you a site that people can find really easily because of how we put it together, and then doing articles for whenever you have new episodes, to publish in a lot of places. We think we could really help your show grow a lot fairly easily. And I was like, that's kind of what I'm at. That's what I'm looking for. Try to see what I can do to, because ideally, I have a few options I've got one independent guy that had offered to help grow the show quite a bit, and wasn't going to charge me anything up front, but then he his initially it was like $300 a month, and I was like, it's a little bit much right now, I'll be thinking about it. And then he came back with a counter and basically said, well, how about this, like, how about a partnership? I'm like, what's that about? Like, he's like, well, basically you like your only requirement would be keep recording your episodes, publishing them every week, and then I'll work on everything else to basically like grow the show and to get increase the downloads and all that fun stuff. And then once the show starts bringing in revenue, we split it 50-50. And I'm like permanently? He's like, yes. I'm like, I was like, I don't know about that, because I was like, I feel it's like when the podcast starts actually bringing in revenue, I said it would literally be a business at that point, an official business, because it'd be earning, Yeah, I've been going a couple years, and haven't not really have lacking on the donations, and don't have a merch, don't have revenue right now, but that's mainly due to just like I do what I can with the time I got, which isn't a lot. So the fact that I've been episodes posting every week, except for the brief breaks I've taken or whatever, I'm just happy with that. But at that point when it starts bringing in revenue and stuff, especially as the revenue increases to the point, obviously like the goal would be to be an independent full-time podcaster, be one of the podcasters that literally that's what I do at home. Like, I'm home full-time working on content for the show and continuing to grow it. I don't know if I'd want to permanently split the revenue that comes in with somebody. I mean, part of me's willing to, because especially if the efforts that he's going through are actually making the show grow, and revenue's going up, and more advertising, more sponsors, whatever. I'm not against it, but the past like month or so, I've kind of been actively like, trying to see what I can find and see what I can do to try to see if I can do things myself, like try to grow it myself without, giving up half of the revenue. But then there's another company that I was talking to that I was leaning towards them, honestly. Instead of the partnership with the guy, this other company was saying that they could do like a promotion deal where they will, help grow subscribers and followers, and it's like they do Google ads and all that stuff to really ramp it up. And there was they have like $100 for a week, $250 or something for 2 weeks, and then $500 for a 30-day campaign. And I was like, I told them when I was talking to them, hey, I'm actually leaning, because I can't do it right now, but I said I'm actually leaning towards the 30-day campaign because I figure my goal is to the next milestone for me with the show is to get to that point with Red Circle where I'm like, in order to get on their advertising platform, start bringing in revenue like that first, the show needs to have at least 500 downloads per week, and it looks like I'm at like 70, and I'm like, that's pretty good still, I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm like, I thought it was less than that, but I looked at my analytics earlier and it said average downloads per week 70, and I'm like, really? For 2 episodes total? I was like, so that's like what, 35 people are tuning in to both episodes, unless I do just one episode, like just a real talk and don't have a raw chat or keep it real, then hey, that's 70 people all in one episode. But so I have a little ways to go, but I like the idea of paying out a larger amount for a 30-day campaign and not having a long-term commitment. So when I got that partnership offer, initially I said, yeah, I don't think I can do that, but I'll have to think about it. He goes, I understand. But I reached out to my Rico and I asked him about it, and I told him what the terms the guy recommended and stuff, and he was like, bro, that's actually a pretty good deal, because like nothing up front, but obviously like it would take you longer to get to the point revenue wise where you're going to be making what you want to make to fully retire yourself and be home working on it full time. So it'll cost you more overall because you'd be split at half. But he goes, but you can always have some kind of arrangement where, like, after a certain point, you can buy him out or something. I'm like, yeah, I gotcha. That's kind of what I was kind of thinking, or like just a contract or something that says, hey, we'll have this arrangement for a month, for like a year, and then we'll reevaluate, or give me the option contractually to say, okay, I want to go ahead and end this arrangement, because I don't want to give him, like, especially if the show gets to where it's like, say, $500,000 a year or something, and let's say it's a really big show, which is the goal eventually to, be like massive, and, then I don't know if I'd want to, especially with somebody that I'm not like related to, not friends with, whatever, just, professional partnership, I guess, like, yeah, I would appreciate, him doing whatever he can to grow the show, but I don't like the long-term revenue split, because basically it would be more than the 300 that he was quoting me initially. So it's like, I would want to go from, hey, the $300 quote, to probably, once the show gets big enough, and making technically like $5,000 a month from the show compared to the $300 he was quoting me. That would seem a little bit lopsided compared to I'll be like, yeah, well, I could just go back to say, hey, I'll pay the 300. I would have to do a contract of some kind to make sure that like we have some kind of agreement in writing, like, hey, we'll do, like, I'll give you 50% for a year, and then reevaluate, at that, and have it be like it's an at-will agreement. We can terminate it. Either party can terminate it, either with or without notice at either time, or any time, blah, blah, blah. So that's where that's at, as far as, like, dealing with those couple of companies that have quoted me a couple things, and then I've got the one company that I'm, talking to right now that I actually did the subscription. It was only like $19 for the month, and that guy actually quoted me, because apparently I bought credits and I hadn't subscribed yet, so you're not supposed to be able to buy credits without subscribing. I apparently had revealed a glitch to them, and he's like, the owner of this company was like, well, like, here's what I want to offer you. Like, if you, like, cause I said, oh, okay, I went ahead, I subscribed, but I already paid for credits, and I already did an article, but it says the article is unpublished. Like, how do I actually publish the site that you guys were creating? And how do I publish an article? Because I don't see an option. Like, do you guys do that, or what do I do? Because I'm confused. I don't know your site or whatever, the dashboard. I was trying to figure this out. And he was like, well, basically, here's a link about how your site that was created for you will look, and here's a link for how your article that was created, how it looks. But we appreciate you revealed a glitch to us because you weren't supposed to be able to add credits to your account without being subscribed. That's not supposed to happen. So since you bought credits and you weren't subscribed, we know that obviously we have to fix that. But since you revealed that to us, here's what we want to offer you. Like, if you can get, because we're about to leave for the weekend, if you'll give us till Monday night, I will upgrade both your site that we're creating for you to make you more visible to people online with your episodes and whatnot, and your article you created to make them even better, higher quality, even better looking. I haven't looked at them, but basically it's like, I'm guessing they look good right now probably, but he's offered to like vamp them up even more, and I'm like, sure. So, but I was like, well, first I was like, well, I have a question about that though. Like, does the since I already paid for credits and I already used some of the credits to do that first article, one of the things he said, like, if I waited till Monday, if I gave them till Monday night, he would not only ramp those up, but he was like, since you revealed a glitch to us, we appreciate that. What we'll do is he's like, we will cover your credits for the most recent, or for the articles for your most recent 50 episodes. I said, really? I was like, that sounds like a pretty good deal, being that I paid 19 for credits thinking I subscribed, but I guess I just bought credits. And one article for one of I guess the most recent Real Talk or whatever was basically like 160 credits, I think. So that $19 give me 500 credits, so I would get 2 articles I could do. Because basically like enough for like 2.5 articles or something. But I'm like, if you guys will cover the last 50 articles for the last 50 episodes, I was like, that right there will probably give the show a huge boost, because So, but I was like, how does it work with the credits? Since I already bought credits and already used some for that article, when I get the credits back, I'm gonna get a refund for the 19 extra that I paid, because I went ahead and paid the 19 to subscribe as well, so I paid 19 twice. I'm willing to keep the credits and use those for the upcoming episodes, to do articles for those. Whatever I can do to grow the show and build a listener base and be able to get on advertising platforms and start growing the show, put me in a position where I could actually dedicate like the majority of my time and effort to the Blodgett show, instead of working 99% of the time and recording when I can out here for the next week, So I basically emailed back saying, yeah, I can wait, that's fine, So, but anyway, so to kind of go with topic for this week, I kind of rambled on a little bit, a little longer than I wanted, but in relationships or in friendships, give and take, the inspiration for that is basically trying to think how to really explain that a little bit. I'm one of those. The way I am is basically, and this is with people, family, or friends, or whatever, I give like effort to people based on kind of how they are with me too. Like, if you're not, whether you're family or a friend, like if we're close friends or whatever, but then like, it's like that one friend I told you guys about way at the beginning of the podcast. We referred to her as D. She's the one that basically was like, always, this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks, nothing's ever gonna get better. And I was always like, hey, like, just have faith, like, just keep being positive, like, things are gonna get better, don't worry. And she got pissed at me just because of how positive I was trying to be. And I'm like, she's like, you're always laughing and joking about things. That pisses me off. Like, you're never serious. And I was like, because I'd rather laugh than cry. Like, life is hard enough. If I don't try to think about the positive or try to find humor in something, then I'm thinking about all the things that I haven't achieved yet, that I'm after, and it's fucking depressing. And, you know, so it's like, even hell, on a daily basis now, it's like there's times where throughout the day I might, you know, interact with people, and for the most part I'll be like, hey guys, how's it going? Or how you doing? I'm like, I'm good, you know, can't complain too much. But then I might hear a song or whatever that makes me think about, you know, where I want to be or something, and or things I haven't quite accomplished yet, or like things I've been trying to do for the past 10 years I'm still working on. Case in point, trying to, you know, basically not have to work full time, whatever. Technically, I started trying to look into options like that back in like 2012, 2011. Back when I think I created a video on YouTube way back then, but of course, because it was on like one of these opportunities that, you know, I'll do a video and post a link, and you get paid if anybody signs up with your link, blah blah blah. I didn't know shit about like marketing online. Didn't know shit about what I was doing. Was just trying to figure it out, because I was like, you know, I want to be home. I don't want to be out and about. This is before I was even driving too. Like, as far as a trucker, I was literally trying to be like, I want to figure out how I could. So I think the job I was doing before that was like 12-hour shifts or whatever, and that was the same job that the other security guard got fired, or no call, no showed, and so I was working every day for like 3 months straight. Like, I'm talking like 7 days a week. I might have had like 1 or 2 days off in a month that my bosses were like, hey, we're gonna send somebody from this other location over to cover you on like Thursday, so that you can basically take the day off and do laundry, whatever. I'm like, oh, thank you, because working every day, I was tired of shit, you know. Then I worked at the hospital, so like all the nurses would see me there all the time, and they're like, why, like, do you ever have a day off? I'm like, I haven't in like 5 weeks, because I was like, the other guy quit. Like, he stopped showing up, and you guys have 2 of us here, and we were rotating like 3 days 1 week, 4 days the next week, you know, and, you know, so one of us would get a 4-day 12-hour shift work week 1 week, and the other one would get 3 days 12-hour shifts, and then the next week we'd switch. So it's like we always made decent money. Whatever, 1 week we'd get overtime, so to all of a sudden every day 12-hour shift. But so but basically, it's interesting to see. Okay, they got oh man, 2 cars. I didn't see damage on one, but the car was behind the other car. The back tire was facing sideways. Like, I don't think the back tire is supposed to face that way. It's like, that's interesting. So, oh, but my friend D, sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. I was like, man, did it again. Where was I going with that? But my friend D, you know, basically went off on me and like, you're always laughing, joking, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, because I'd rather laugh than cry. Like, I'm not, you know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be depressed or think of the negative or whatever. I'd rather try to, you know, find humor and stuff. I think I've been feeling that a lot this week too, because there's been random. I mean, usually I don't find stuff. I might find stuff funny in general, but not like, you know, I'm gonna fall over my chair laughing. But there's been a couple videos. I might be just exhausted, burned out, you know, because it's been 3 months since I took that time off in March, and so I think I'm definitely needing to go ahead and start planning for the next one within the next couple months. Take like 2 weeks off or whatever. Well, the plan is within 6 months, by the time I get the disability updated with my with the VA and stuff, to get back pay. I'm planning to take like 3 or 4 weeks off and travel to see my parents, and then take the fam out to the East Coast to see the fam out there, because my wife's grandmother is like 96 or something. She walks and stuff every day. She's very active. Doesn't look in her 90s at all. But I told the wife, I was like, yeah, I want to get us out there sooner rather than later, because I know even though she's in really good health, she's up there in age, you just never know. So it's like, I want to get out there so we can see everybody. So if she does pass in like the next year or two, at least we could be like, at least we got out there and we had a week with him, you know? So, but, so I had a falling out with Dee, you know, because she basically like made a comment because when I told her why I do what I do, basically she hit a low blow. She made a comment, you know, personal comment that she has no idea about. That I basically was like, oh, okay, so fuck you, you know, like have a nice life, you know, like you wanna say shit like that to me when I've been supportive of you. But basically what she did, when I say like effort, to kind of get back on track with the topic, when I say like effort stuff, like give and take or whatever, it was like, I would say for the past few months from that point before I basically said, you know, I'm done, like, you know, have a nice life, I can't do this anymore. She, like, I would message her, you know, as a friend, try to check it. Hey, how's it going, D? Like, you know, everything good? I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. And every time I message her, even though she didn't work because she had too much anxiety, I can't work a job. Too anxious. I'm like, you're anxious. I was like, you should try doing this shit out here, you know, deal with drivers and whatnot. You know, I was like, anybody who doesn't drive a truck, yeah, you can drive a car and stuff, but those of us professional drivers out here, we deal with so much shit out here, so much stress, so many bad drivers. I mean, I'm not saying all drivers, trucks are good either, because there's bad truckers out here too. But you know, whenever basically she was one of those that like, she was doing like these $5 tarot readings on TikTok, which I had other friends that were like, I would be charging at least 50, like I'm not doing $5, fuck that. But she would be proud of the fact, I made $5 today, awesome, went to McDonald's and got a couple dollar menu stuff. I'm like, oh, congratulations, you know, I'm happy for it. If you're happy, I'm happy, you know, that's great, you know. And but she'd be home all day, just hanging out, watching movies, smoking weed, you know, and because she would tell me this stuff, and then, you know, hanging out with friends or whatever. But you know, and she'd get like she got like a government check. She lived in government housing where she'd pay like, I think she paid like $200 a month for her house, but she always tried to compare it when I'm like, yeah, like our rent's like $2,000. She goes, well, my apartment's normally $2,000, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not paying $2,000. You're paying $200. You know, out of you're paying that out of your government check. You're not working and bringing anything. It's like $1,400 a month or something that she made, and so she would literally pay the $200 to her rent, and then like the rest would disappear in a couple days because she'd buy weed, and, you know, buy this or that, whatever. So then she'd be broke for the rest of the month, complaining about life. And I'm like, why don't you try to do something online, like try to have a side biz or something, like a side gig? And she's like, no, because if I make anything extra, I'll lose my check. And I'm like, yeah, but would you need that check if you were making something else? She said, yeah, but I can't work. I have too much anxiety. Like, okay, you know, but I was trying to be that friend, you know. I was trying to, hey, like, you know, it'll be okay. You know, basically trying to be like, hey, like, is everything cool? Are you okay? And basically, what the thing I kept getting from her, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, like, hey, I just can't talk. Like, I'm just so busy. Oh man, I'm swamped, I'm slammed, and I'm thinking, how are you so busy? You're literally home with your kid by yourself all day. You're on TikTok because I was constantly seeing that, you know, D posted a new video, and D was live for 4 hours. It's like, you're busy at home, basically just sitting on your ass and not, you know, doing these TikTok lives, trying to do tarot readings for $5. I was like, okay. So you know, we go a couple more weeks, the message again. She, hey man, I'm so busy, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. And I was like, I got to a point where, like, yeah, you know what, like, I, you know, can't do this anymore. that plus we'd gotten into that fight. You know, it was like that plus the fight all at the same time. And it was like, well, since you never have time anyway to talk, you know, obviously like, you know, I'm the only one trying here, and you made this comment that was inappropriate. So fuck you, I'm done. You know, I'm not gonna be the only one trying to make an effort in this friendship anymore. So then, you know, I've had other friends too where, you know, it felt like I was the main one messaging. They'd message if they wanted something, if they needed help with something, or you know, if like they were going through a tough time and they needed your emotional support or something. And it's like, okay, you know, but then you know, you get to a point where you're only being used. So yeah, I had to step away from other friends like that. They were like, yeah, this friendship isn't healthy for me because like you're the only one that's like it's only about you. Like it's like you need my help when you're feeling down. You want me to lift you back up, whatever. That's kind of what, you know. I had a friend that, you know, kind of. There's a part of me that wishes that she'd reach out, but you know, I've even put it out there in some of these episodes. Good old Kirsten from Australia. I think she's in Michigan now. Got divorced with her husband. Let's see, coming up to the hub or whatever, or not far from it. I was like, I came this direction towards 435 to see if the Blue Beacon truck wash, if there was nobody in line, because if not, I would have swung in there to try to do a quick truck wash, even though the truck, I think I washed it last week. And actually, still looks half decent. By being summer, it's getting dirtier quicker because of like the bugs and whatnot, you know. But Kirsten was kind of the same way. It was, you know, always needed to be lifted up or whatever. And needed support or whatever. I really appreciate you. Like you've always been there for me. And, you know, the past 10 years we've known each other. And I'm like, yeah, I can't believe we've known each other that long. But you know, she was one that would basically do. She would ask for your support and your advice, but then she would go and do what you were advising her against. Anyway, you know, and so it's like she got into a destructive habit or whatever. Like trying to hook up with somebody online that she was, you know, talking like, oh, we're so in love. And I'm like, you've known them for like a day. Like, do you even know who they are? Like, yeah, we have so much in common, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, have you even seen a picture or a video of them? She goes, well, no. You know, and fully just like wanted your advice, but then would go and do, like, wanted you to give advice about something, but then would go and do what you were talking about anyway. And it's like, you'd be telling her that's not a good idea. Like you're asking for trouble. That's dangerous. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay. And then basically well, I did it anyway. You know, I said screw it. You know, I'm like, okay. You know, same thing with her. It was more me effort with her, and it was like, yeah, I can't. I was like, Kirsten, I wish you the best. You know, like I can't do this anymore. Like this friendship is draining on me because I'm trying to be there for you, and all you're doing is like, hey, I need your advice. I'm trying to think about. But then I was like, but you're asking for advice. And you're totally doing something else. Like you're not, you know, you're not actually like. I was like, what's the purpose of asking for people to advise you if you're gonna go and do what you're gonna do anyway? Like just go do what you're gonna do and don't waste our time and our energy or whatever trying to advise you on something that you don't really care for the advice. You're just, you know, attention, you know. So, and then another thing would be like family. Like for instance, take my kids for example. Like, I love my kids, you know. Like my youngest, Zoe, and my oldest, Allie. Love them to death. You know, Allie, she was 5 when I came in the picture, and I think I officially adopted her when she was like 10 or 11. I spent years basically trying to figure out how to do that because I was trying to figure out, you know, like what paperwork I needed and stuff because I didn't have the money to hire a lawyer, you know, to do it through a lawyer officially because it probably would have been like thousands. Eventually, I figured out the the paperwork I needed and what I had to fill out, and the fee I had to pay, which is like a couple $100 to file with the court, with a certain division of the court. So I went through and did it. And then we had the court date. We officially adopted her, or I officially adopted her. You know, I've been officially her dad for like the past, I think, cause she's 5. She's 25 now. So I was like, man, I've been her dad for 20 years now. Ooh, man, I can't believe it's been that long. But that's a, you know, all in all, relationship with my kids is great, you know. But one major difference I've noticed between my 2 kids is like my oldest. I know she loves us. I know she wants to, you know, I'd imagine wants to have some kind of relationship with me and her mom, you know. But with the recent move out and stuff, that's twice that she's basically moved out with the grandkiddo halfway across the country. First time, obviously, she's up and left. There's no contact for 2 years, and we had no idea what the hell was that, like, what happened, like, what caused it. And then fell on hard times and needed help, and we dropped everything, even though I was like, at the time, I was telling myself, you know, like, I don't know if I'm going to have anything to do with Allie, if that ever, you know, maybe I'll see the grandson when he's 18 and looks us up to try to track us down, like, hey, why didn't we have any contact with you, Nana and Papa? And be like, well, because your mom literally took you out of our lives. But, you know, so I didn't know what to expect there. I was like, well, whenever I leave, like, inheritance-wise, I was like, obviously, at that point, I was like, Allie ain't getting shit, because, you know, like, she can't kick us out of your life and be the will. Like, you're out of the will, you know. But then she fell in hard times to keep at. You know, we came and basically brought her back home, and she's been with us for the past, like, 2.5 years or something. And, you know, you don't realize, I know when you go through certain situations and you can tell yourself, oh man, I'm never gonna forgive this. This is unforgivable. We were hurt. Like it was real, like it took 8 months at least before I got to a point where, I mean, my health had gotten really bad. I had gained so much weight. I'm down to like 325 right now. I think before she left that first time, I think I got down to like 319, 320. But she left, and the way she did, I was like, within 8 months, I was like 375. Drinking all the time, eating whatever the hell I wanted because, you know, comfort food, you know, like I was like not doing great. But they got to a point where the way I felt, and I was like, yeah, and I got diagnosed with diabetes. I was like, yeah, I need to get this under control, otherwise I'm not going to be around the next couple of years because I'm just probably going to have a heart attack and keel over. So now I'm back down again to 325. Interesting. It's like, I guess because there was a storm yesterday, these stoplights are not working. Like, they're not even, there's no red light or green light or yellow light or anything. They're just off. Thankfully, there's no like cross streets or whatever. It's a T intersection, so like I still came to a stop and, you know, then continued on. But it's like, ooh, those stoplights are off. I heard there's like tornado warnings around this area and stuff, so now everything's all clear skywise and stuff. But so so yeah, you know, it's one of those had to get back on track health wise and try to, like, you know, only drink my days off, not drink every day, and you know, cut out the sweets a little bit, you know, try to eat healthier. Got it back or whatever. And so when my oldest informed us, like, within the past like 4 months, that she was basically going to be moving out in June, to move down there with her boyfriend, and then, you know, the grandkiddo, after he leaves his dad's house or his dad's parents' house, and, like, you know, after his 6 weeks down there, he's gonna obviously go home to the new home and not come back here. Yeah, all the stoplights on this entire stretch are out. I'm like, ooh, that's... I better be, when I head out of here to head home, I'm gonna have to be careful to watch for oncoming cars, because a lot of them will run red lights anyway here, so they won't even attempt to stop. But so at least when she notified us this, like within the past 4 months, that she was that was the plan, you know, I worried that, cause I was really scared to death of, like, how I was gonna handle it. Even though we knew that she was leaving, it was, you know, she's leaving on good terms. You know, we're not in a bad place with her. You know, we were doing what we could to help her even figure it out, get things figured out. I was still really worried and concerned about, like, is this gonna hit me as bad as it did before? You know, where I'm gonna feel like I want to drink all the time. But, and plus, like, you know, not sure how I was gonna feel around the house or whatever. It's been like, I think we're going on 2 weeks. This will be, yeah, today technically will be 2 weeks since she left. Since her boyfriend came up, and, you know, they packed a moving truck with all the Grand Kiddo stuff and took off. So honestly, like, we're adapting. Things are going okay. So I don't feel the need to get, like, trashed on my day off. I still have a couple of drinks, and that's it. You know, so things aren't bad, but we haven't been hearing from her in the family chat either. Like, I set up a different family chat with me and my youngest and my wife, so that way we wouldn't be blowing up, you know, the daughter and boyfriends. Just get ready to get my badge in here as I pull in here in the hub. But didn't want to blow up their phone or whatever, so bear with me one sec, guys. You know how it is, do what I gotta do. Then the other trick of trying to find a space to put the trailer. Because Sunday, a lot of times there's it's like a clusterfuck out here. It's like trailers everywhere. I mean, looks like a lot of trailers are actually in the spaces, so they're not just randomly parked, so that's good. But I'm like, I gotta find an opening for me to put the trailer in, and you gotta swing wide enough to make sure you can actually get the trailer in the space without clipping another trailer. I've been really close before where I actually had like a set of doubles, and I was trying to pull into a space, and of course I was gonna make contact on one side, so I stopped, and basically I think I cheated. I basically unhooked from the front trailer, and then ended up hooking up to this random carrier's trailer that was beside me. And then I pulled that trailer up to the next space in front to kind of clear room beside me, and then I went ahead and rehooked back to the doubles. And I pulled those forward again so the back trailer would line up in the space, and then that way I was able to then unhook it and drop it, you know. But I had one of the switchers pull up. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, I got a little too close. I was like, I can't pull through without hitting that trailer, so I'm just, you know, I just pulled that trailer up there so that way I can straighten this out. He goes, "Oh, wow." He goes, "Yeah, a lot of drivers, I've noticed, they just end up hitting hitting the trailer or whatever, and they don't even, you know, they don't try to, like, avoid it like you just did." I'm like, "Well, it's kind of why that's what I'm trying to do." So, let's see, arrival. Officially arrived. What do you do? So, let's see. Bear with me as I'm literally gonna be multitasking here for a minute. Get this stuff dropped. It's a great thing about having a headset and stuff, you know. One of the guys that, the guy that quoted me like for like a 30-day campaign. He had asked like, "Hey, do you have a YouTube channel for your podcast?" I was like, "No, I don't," because I said it's one thing to record, because literally you can have the phone up in the mount, you have the headset on, it's hands-free, you're not, you know, really breaking any laws. But I said, but doing videos would be a little different story, because I don't want to do a video while going down the road, because that's, you know, even though, yeah, you're still hands-free technically, but it still looks bad, you know. And apologies about the sound out here, it's a little loud. I'll be back in the truck here in a second. For you truckers out there and stuff, I know you guys are... let's see. And I hope it's actually still recording normal, which it should, because when I got back in the truck, it said connected back to the Bluetooth in the truck. Like, let me see. Just to play it safe, since I'm giving myself a little more from the truck. There we go. There we go. Just to be on the safe side, I don't want it to be recording audio from inside the Bluetooth speaker in the truck. But see, you know, when you're recording, you got the little sound bites or whatever, little sound waves, and it looks like it's based on the headset, not on the. There we go. All right, cool. Trailer is disconnected. But if it was on the truck microphone, I think the sound waves on the recording would be like a constant, like full sound wave, because it'd be like all the surround sound or all the background noise and stuff, versus like the headset is kind of noise canceling, so it helps. So yeah, I was really worried about how things were gonna go, like how we're gonna feel with the you know, with her leaving again, because like the first couple days after my grandson technically left to go down to his dad's, and we know that he's not gonna come back here. I hung out with him, got some photos with him, you know, before he left, and of course, like, I struggled for a couple days, heart-wrenching, you know, pain in the chest, whatever. You know, broke down sobbing a couple times. You know, the wife and I were texting back and forth, basically talking about how, and I was like, I feel like she's done this to us twice now. And my wife was like, well, she has. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, I know that this time she's leaving on good terms, but I was like, we already went through her leaving with Alex before, and it was just really tough. And then, you know, so then we got to where we were somewhat okay, and then of course she had life happen and she needed to come back home, so we dropped, like, despite what I had felt before, you know, like, she's like, fuck her, blah blah blah, you know, she pays something, or screw, you know, like, she can go to hell, whatever. You know, I had those thoughts go through my head, because as her dad, I was like, I couldn't believe that she did what she did. But then when it came to it, we dropped everything and came and got her. And she came back home. Of course, like, we didn't know she was gonna come back home, so like she didn't have any, like, her stuff at home, like her bedroom and stuff was no longer set up as her bedroom. Like, her stuff was gone. You know, it was turned into a gamer room because I was like, we needed. My wife and I fought about it constantly when we were. Me and my younger daughter wanted to turn her old bedroom into a game room, like put an entertainment center in there. You know, make it actually something that like a positive space, kind of, you know. And so I was like, basically, it was depressing just having we actually officially parked in a parking space and officially ready for my technically my 34 hours off. But so we had so she slept on a couch. You know, we converted our dining room into a bedroom for her. You know, where she had like a futon mattress and stuff, and she had gotten our grandson a little, like, a toddler bed. So he was always asleep in there in his bed, and they had dressers and stuff in there. You know, it was like a bedroom setup that had a curtain for a door to have privacy or whatever. But then for like those 2 years, or like the year and a half or so, she ended up like always upstairs in the game room, asleep on the couch. And so me and the youngest were like, man, when we had the game room in here before she moved back, like, she and I were in there on the PlayStation, you know, playing video games a lot, or we'd go in there, we'd watch a movie in there. You know, we were using the space, but then my oldest was kind of taking over that room again. And it's like, all right, you know. But, you know, we were just happy to all be together again, you know. And then we move up here, and my wife and my oldest had kind of talked about it before we came up here, because we knew she wanted to move to Georgia to be with her boyfriend. But she couldn't do that on her own, and she had asked, like, we're looking at places to move to. My oldest was like, hey, how about Georgia? We're like, we're not moving to Georgia. Like, there's no reason for us to move to Georgia. I know you have your boyfriend down there, but we don't know anybody in Georgia. I have no interest in being down there. I was like, if anything, I said, I'll go to Oklahoma or Philly or Kansas City, because we have family in all three of those locations. Like, my parents in Oklahoma, we have my wife's birth mom and her birth side of her family in Philly, and then her, you know, the mom that she grew up with, the adopted mom out here in Kansas City, you know, that side of the family. So our kids have literally three sets of grandparents. So, you know, when we came out here, my wife and my oldest had kind of had this talk, like, I know you want to move to Georgia, because I know you want to be with you know, your boyfriend, but Mike, what about, like, give it a couple years at least, so that, you know, your kiddo can stay in the same school, can have stability, whatever, and then maybe you guys can find a place up there, so that way you're not, like, moving entirely away from your whole support network again. And my oldest was like, at the time, yeah, Mom, that makes sense. Like that makes sense. Like, it makes sense to stay near everybody, like you guys, grandma, and aunts and uncles, and blah blah blah. And, you know, like, literally be, you know, close to, like, everybody that supports her, like me and my wife and my youngest, all helped with her kid. She doesn't drive yet, so there are times where, you know, where she would need help with something, like, hey, can you run me over here to these couple places? I need to go to the courthouse to turn this in for the child support thing. I need to turn this in and do that. Of course, like, I'm like, well, I have to get to work, but, you know, I can leave a little late. That's fine. Let's go do what we have to do, and I would help her out. So, kind of to give towards the, you know, give and take. I've noticed a little bit of a difference between my kiddos, which kind of, it bugs me, because I love my oldest. I love both. They're both my kids. They're both my girls, you know. But it bugs me that my youngest, actually, she's been pretty proactive, and up front and stuff. Like she'll approach me and my wife, hey mom, dad, like randomly, like, hey, can we go to a movie on Sunday? Like you know, yeah, absolutely. Or hey, can we go out to dinner together? Or hey, can we go to this art activity, whatever, where we all will create like an art project. You know, especially after my oldest left the first time, my youngest really wanted to go out and do things with us. And me and my wife really appreciated that. We were like, that's great. Like we're enjoying time with the youngest kiddo. Like at least one of our kiddos wants to be around us, you know. And even when my oldest was still here before she moved, my youngest would basically approach me because we got the e-bikes and stuff. And like, so she'd be like, hey dad, can we go, like when you're off on Sunday, can we go out on the bikes? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, you know. Or can we go grab some chicken tenders? Or can we go, you know, we need groceries. Can we go, like, can I go with you to the grocery store when you go shopping? I'm like, yeah, that's fine, you know. Or I'll just go somewhere to take care of an errand, and she will basically be like, hey, I want to come with you, or whatever. Okay, that's cool, you know. Or hell, like when I was off for those 2 weeks, I don't think, like, little things, like my oldest would have food, like DoorDash brought for her and the great kiddo. Like me and Zoe would be upstairs, you know, like I'd be watching Netflix or something, and the youngest would be in her room. And then, you know, when Zoe and I would start talking about like, hey, what are we gonna eat? And then of course DoorDash would show up with food for my oldest downstairs. And I looked at my youngest, I was like, I guess it's you and me for dinner. She said, yeah, she never buys food for all of us. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, but when I buy food or my wife buys food or whatever, it's like, hey, we're trying to plan for everybody. Like even when they're older, like they have an older sibling that's technically Allie's full blood sibling. They both have the same dad, but the older sibling was put up for adoption when my wife was like 18 or whatever. So like I have no parental parts of that older sibling or whatever. I'm kind of, I guess it'd be like the step parent or something. But even when that sibling is over hanging out with Allie, I would order food and I would even include them. I'd be down like, hey, like, and hand the phone to my kiddo, and I'd be like, what do you, like, both of you, what do you guys want? Like, I'm ordering food, and so they both order stuff. And I'm like, I'm including everybody because we're all here. But Allie would order for herself and for Alex, not, not even, and I'm like, not expecting her to, but it's kind of one of those where, like, if you're always the one doing it, like, I think she ordered for my wife on occasion. When I'm out here working, like, my wife would message like, yeah, Allie got she ordered such and such, and she got me like one of these like burritos or something, or got me a taco or something. Oh, okay. So she'd order for my wife when I'm out here working, but then I'd be home and it'd be like ordered for her and her kid, and it's like you aren't even gonna ask about it. Like, I'm not saying you have to order for us, but like we could have got it together. Like we can split it, or we can express. It's a little things like expressing, even saying that, like, communication, I guess. Like even just talking about it, like, hey, Dad, I was gonna order such as, but I can't afford to order for everybody. Can you pay for you and Zoe? Or if I send you money, can you do the order? Like, I'll send you for me and Alex, and like, you order the full order and you pay for the full order. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Or hell, I don't even need to do that. Just the acknowledgement, the effort. So, as like, one thing that bugs me about her is basically that's just the, I don't know, just like, just keeps to herself and a social. She's not like, she has friends or whatever, but little things like that, like just like all the stuff that as the major breadwinner, like both me and my wife work, but of course I handle the bulk of stuff, since I bring in the bulk of the income. So rent, utilities, insurance, and pretty much bulk of everything is mostly on me. My wife handles like the food, like the groceries and stuff at home, anything we need for the house, so it's like we're still a team, and she handles stuff at home and handles her car payment, stuff like that, but I always felt like you so much, you know, covering everything. And like my oldest, since she was over 18, she was on the lease too. But we never asked her to, like, we were paying everything. We weren't asking her to pay anything towards bills, even though like she do laundry 10 times a day, leaving windows open, lights on, whatever. And it's like I would complain because like, or like not washing the dishes, you know, little stuff. And it's like all right, you know, like it, when you feel like you're doing so much, and then you know you don't feel like people appreciate it, you know, it wears on you. Like I know my wife appreciates it, and I know that my youngest, like she literally, we have a little arrangement where I technically pay her allowance, but the agreement with that is in order to get paid, she has to do certain chores around the house, like trashes, cat litters, recycling, you know, and help me clean. You know, like we do. That's why we got like we got the Swiffer Power Mop, you know, because I love mopping, but it's a lot easier when you can just spray the whole floor and then use the thing and, you know, mop the whole floor pretty quick without like, hey, I have to dunk the mop, I have to strain the mop, I have to do 2 passes and then dunk, strain, 2 passes, and then it takes like 2 hours to freaking do the upstairs, and then you're hurting by that point. I'm so tired, but my youngest actually will help out. You know, like she'll literally do her stuff and then like, all right, hey, Dad, you gotta pay me. Like, yeah, I know, but I guess, you know, looking at like inheritance wise, I was joking with my Puerto Rico. I was like, you know, when she left before, I was thinking, you know, she's out of the will, I'm not leaving her ship. You know, she doesn't deserve it because the way she just left, and you know, the way she's treating us, whatever. But then came back home, and you know, me thinking like, hey, maybe she's gonna stick around and not up and leave. You know, we're actually gonna be, you know, have that parental and child relationship, whatever, and actually have our grandson close by. That plus the talk about like, hey, maybe I should stay locally, you know, try to get a house or an apartment up there, be close to you guys, since we're like literally a bunch of us, me and my wife, my youngest, even her grandmother up here, you know, basically watched her kiddo for her, we've been rides for her since she doesn't drive yet. And then, you know, so we thought things were, and then find out within the past 4 months, like, oh, by the way, oh, okay. I think basically what happened is probably because I think her boyfriend helps, lives, at the time I think he lived with his parents. Now obviously they have their own place down there. It's just him and her alone in their new place. I'm like, enjoy your unofficial honeymoon period for 4 weeks or whatever until your kiddo comes back from the other grandparents' house or whatever, and basically, you know, she, again, living in her new place without her support network, like it's just her boyfriend and his parents. Is like, good luck, you know, like I hope everything works out, you know, like it was hard to see her off, you know, but basically was like trying to you know, give advice as she left, like, hey, so take care of each other, take care of yourselves, make sure to take care of your house, you know, your rental house, like keep it looking good, smelling good, because like at least stay in good graces with the landlord, so that way you guys don't run the risk of them kicking you out because they think you're trashing the place. Like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, we you know, that makes sense, Dad. Okay, I was like, cause all, you know, parents out there, you know how it is. All we can do is try to guide our kids as best as possible, and it makes sense now as a parent looking back, because my parents. That's why, like, I've apologized multiple times to my parents over this past year or two, basically because of things I did in the past. Where they try to advise me to go a certain direction. They try to recommend I do such, and you know that I should stay with them, and that I should go to school, and that I shouldn't do such and such. And of course, the things I shouldn't do are the things that I know better, and I know what I want. I'm gonna do that, and you know, so I did those things and basically had a falling out with my parents for several years, and then, you know, ended up divorcing my ex-wife and reconnected with my parents, and things are better. But obviously, like, there's still that, I know that like, they're not angry with me about it to the point where I can't go see them because things are tense. No, it's like I can tell that like my mom still mentions it on occasion, but we text and we call, whatever, and it's like I'm just like I know I can't change the past. I'm sorry about what I did. I was like I was stupid. I should have listened to you, but then but then as a parent looking now, it's like yeah. I was like, I've joked with my kids. I was like, like I was like having experienced it myself, and my parents telling me you really shouldn't like do such and such, or you should not do this because it's not a good idea, blah blah blah. And I went and did it anyway. It's like I'm gonna tell you this is what we think. This is how mom and I feel about this decision that you're making. But I also know that as somebody that's gone through it before, I know that um, you're gonna do what you gotta do, you know. So I'm not even gonna try to talk you out of it. I just want you to know that mom and I will do whatever we can to help. Like if you run into issues, if you need help, whatever. When she was saying that she's all of a sudden when she's moving down there, which again I'm thinking is probably because her boyfriend really didn't want to leave Georgia. Probably wanted to stay down there close to his parents. And my daughter, being the sweet young woman she is, obviously wants to be with him, and so it's all about what they want and not what was necessarily best overall, like for her kiddo or whatever. So because if it was just her, then obviously she can move wherever she wants, like do whatever she wants. But when you got a kid, you got to think about that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of their decision to go down there was probably more so about what they wanted. Like we could be together and like we'll just set the kiddo up in a new school and this and that. And yeah, technically you could do that, but you kind of pull him away from being up here with us and his aunt and his great grandma and everything else to go down there with the two of them and his parents who've never met the grandkiddo. So, and they're not married, so he's not technically their grandkiddo. He's the son of their son's girlfriend. So not even related at all. But if they get married, obviously it'll be the technically grandkiddo. But I basically was like telling my kiddos, especially Allie, before she was moving, that like obviously like you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and we just want to have a relationship with you. Like we don't want to have a repeat of what happened last time. Like I said, we worry about that. Like you leaving and us just never not having any communication with you. She's like, no, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Right? Okay, if you say so. So we're just like, but and I know that no matter what we tell you, no matter what advice we give you, like you're a young adult, like you think you know best. We always do at that age, and you're gonna make the decisions that you feel are the best for you, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Like maybe like that's why we were like hopefully. Because like all we can say is hopefully everything works out the way that you think they will. Especially because he doesn't work at like a high-paying job. I think he works at like, I'm assuming not a high-paying job because he works at like Salvation Army. It's probably an hourly clock-in job. Maybe hopefully it's like at least like mid-teens, like 15 an hour or something. Who knows? Salvation Army, I couldn't imagine they pay like big bucks or whatever. Be like working at Goodwill, But and then she right now doesn't work because she was working up here for like a convenience store gas station chain that's not down there. So she's unemployed down there right now. But hopefully again, like I said, enjoying their unofficial honeymoon time, just the two of them in their new place. It's like I hope you guys are enjoying your time right now because eventually your kiddo is going to come back and your boyfriend's gonna have to be the one paying the rent and the bills while you try to get a job. She was out of work up here for like 6 months at least, like 6 or 7 months, where she worked a little bit, as like a seasonal at one job, and then of course that job ended. She went to one job that basically was there for 4 days, and it was a pizza place. The owner literally because she was training, and the owner freaked out on her, like literally came out and screamed at her, and she was walking home sending us voice clips telling us like, so this just happened, and we're like, yeah, we don't want you to quit your job, but we don't want you to get abused at work either. So whatever you gotta do is, do what you gotta do. If you're gonna quit and try to find something else, go for it. You know, whatever. So that's part of why during the whole most of this year, when it's like, you know, I don't know, yes, me and my wife handle stuff, so I'm gonna say me in general. When I'm like, I'm as a breadwinner, was keeping things going, paying the rent every month, paying the utilities, except for whenever my wife would take care of them, and you know, sometimes help them with a lot, you know, adding to the grocery fund. You know, literally to tell you guys kind of what some of the expenses, some of the outgoing have been. It's like I've had weeks where rent and my Silverado payment and utilities went out in the same week, and we're talking like $3,400 in a week, because like 20 with rent, utilities like 2,800, and then my truck payments 800, which I think those weeks I broke it down, like broke it in half. 2 weeks I paid 400, and then had to pay something else. It was like 3,200 plus another 150 or 200, so it was literally 3,400 in 1 week. And then the next week put money to help with the grocery costs or whatever. But you know, carrying all that weight while my oldest basically down in her room on her computer, you know, quote unquote applying for jobs, and it's like not going to interviews or whatever. Like there were multiple times that you know, of course we were her ride, so it'd be like she had an interview set up. It's like, hey guys, like, or hey, like, are you ready to go to your interview? Like, it's time. And oh no, I'm sick. I'm just gonna reschedule. That's the thing about when you're younger too. It's like, oh, it's no big deal. When you get older like us, we're like you really shouldn't blow it off because you wanted to get in there. They might not reschedule you. Well, they're gonna be fine, Dad. Okay, all right. I've tried to change up how I am from past me to current me. You know, try to be like, try to be, you know, try not to especially when I'm burned out, when I'm tired, which is all the time because of my schedule, I can be a short fuse. So that's why lately what I do is I try to, like if I'm really feeling overwhelmed and it's a situation like, hey, like I don't know what to do, I'm trying to figure this out, blah blah blah. I might be like, can you give me like till the end of the day tomorrow to decide on this? Like to handle this or whatever. I was like, because I'm at work, or I'm just brain fried right now because I didn't sleep well and I can't think straight right now. I need time to. Oh boy, sitting back here in the back of the lot, Werner is deciding to come all the way back here with the trailer. I'm like, dude, like, I hope he can make it through. Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully he's not going to clip one of our trucks. Man, he got lucky. It's like, this is not an area for you to come back here with a 53-footer, man. This is a bobtail lot back here, but he made it. But yeah. Now it's like, but now you gotta get out of here though. So, like I've had a video I recorded once where a 53-footer came back here and he barely got through, and it's like, ooh, be like interesting accident report there, but. Let's see, if you'll turn, make that turn. Let's see. Well, trailer's disappearing, so I'm guessing he made it. Yeah. That was a bad idea for him to turn in here. I don't know what he was thinking. This is all like this lot's pretty full of trucks right now. And it's like, dude, like, you see bobtails parked in here. It's not there's no trailers back here. It's like, man. But probably training. I'm guessing there was a guy in the passenger seat and the guy in the driver's seat. You know, probably training somebody. Go ahead, turn in here. No, I don't know if I should. No, go ahead. It's fine. But to kind of wrap this up a little bit, basically, you know, when you feel like you're carrying everything, and you know, you're not asking for any help from you know, for instance, like me with my oldest, like wasn't asking her for help, even though my wife is like, she's on the lease, like you ask her to help contribute towards some of the bills because she's doing it. I'm like, yeah, no. I was like, I want her to just focus on what she needs and like focus on herself and like her, you know, her and the kiddo and whatever. And but thinking, you know, she's not gonna move. Like I just want her to get a good job and get her life on track, and you know, obviously we'll be there for her. So then, oh, she changed her mind, instead of staying here, you know, for a couple years to try to have stability with her kiddo, she's moving because she wants to be with the boyfriend in Georgia. Like, okay, well, that sucks. So I try to be, you know, would talk to her or whatever, and be like, you know, supportive. Like, hey, well, you know, just we offered her the couch that her kiddo had used for the past 3 years, which she's like, no, it's, you know, he had accidents on it a couple times. You know, yeah, we cleaned it and stuff, but yeah, we should probably leave it here. I'm like, so you're gonna leave it here for us to get rid of? Like you guys were the ones using it the past 3 years, because like your kiddo took over the game room since we've been up here. Like none of the rest of us have actually been able to be down there, you know, watch TV on that TV or on that couch, because her kiddo was always down there playing his games, and she was in her room, or when the boyfriend came up. Like her and the boyfriend late at night would be on the couch cuddling or whatever, watching a movie, and it's like you were the one, like literally getting the full use out of that couch. Like you guys take the couch, like it's your couch. She moved, and literally like within like a week we actually had that couch. Well, she moved it out to the curb, even though I was like, we had it in the garage. It's like, all right, I'll just take care of it when I can take care of it. And she moved it out to the freaking curb. I was like, no, I wasn't planning to do that, because we get lots of rain up here. I didn't think anybody was going to be able to take it, you know, or that anybody would take it. If it's like dry weather, like no rain for like 2 weeks, maybe somebody would take the couch because it'd be still in good condition, be dry, whatever. 2 days after they put it on the curb, it was downpouring rain, and we don't get light rains here. We get freaking floods all the time, and we get tornado watches and warnings all the time. So it's like, yeah, welcome to the Midwest. This is great. But so it got rained on within a couple days. I'm like, great, like no one's gonna take the couch. Like when her and Logan officially moved, I guess she broke one of the bookshelves that she was trying to take, so they just put the broken remnants of the bookshelf on the couch on the curb. I was like, why? Like nobody's gonna take that stuff, and there's not a heavy junk day where they come, or somebody truck comes around and picks up junk on the curbs. Like it's just like, oh, we're gonna have to figure that out now. So it was on there for like a week, and then my wife messaged me earlier this week and basically was like, so we got a notice from the city basically saying we need to get rid of the couch. I'm like, oh great. She was, don't worry, there's no fine or whatever. It's just literally like a pretty polite notice basically saying like, hey, just you know, per the ordinance, just got to get rid of that, and let us know if you don't know where to take it to or whatever, and we could give you some suggestions. And my wife just hired 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they came out and basically picked it up. And I was like, all right, well, technically, Ally should pay me back for at least half that, because they were the ones that put that on the curb when they could have left it in the garage, and we wouldn't have had to been rushed to have to dispose of it. But since, you know, it was all about, I need to clear out the garage so I can put my stuff in the garage to help make it easier for me to move. It's like, yeah, but, you know, like, there's other people here too. You're just thinking of you and your boyfriend and your kid and getting out the door. It's like trying to, you know, I know she wasn't running away this time, but it's still like, we were kind of worried, you know, because, you know, she's not a big texter or whatever. So I was kind of figuring, yeah, we're probably not going to hear from her much. And yeah, we're gonna come up and visit. Don't worry. Like, yeah, you guys probably won't, because it's 900 miles from where you guys live, and him flying up here by himself to see you is one thing, but I don't think you guys are gonna make that drive too often if you guys do, because she doesn't drive again. It's just him. And I don't think you'll fly, because airline tickets for 3 people would probably be freaking expensive. So not anticipating that we're going to see them very often, and they haven't really me and my youngest and my wife basically posted a few pictures of like the pup, you know, and the cats or whatever in the other family chat for them. I really haven't heard anything back from them, so we just been communicating in our other chat with just the three of us. Hell yeah, you know, they're enjoying their honeymoon period down there in their new place, you know, all by themselves. Probably who knows, doing what adults do probably all the time, like, don't get pregnant again. You know, if you do, good luck, because you're down there with just your boyfriend and his parents, so you gotta find, like, now you got bills you're gonna have to help with because me and mom aren't taking care of them now for you, and you know, you gotta figure out childcare because again, me, my wife, and my youngest aren't there to help out with that, which, you know, we were totally cool with doing that here, but we had to be like when they moved down there. It's like, well, if you need help, like, it might take us a minute to figure it out because we're 900 miles from you. We can't just come down there and pick you up again. But, you know, her boyfriend's head over heels for her, so it's like, you know, they've been together for a couple years, at least a couple years, not longer. So, but it's been long distance the whole time. But it's just one of those where with her, it's like, I have another driver that just pulled up and backing in and stuff. He's probably heading home, but you know, it's just with the kiddos in general. I guess what kind of sparked this topic is like thinking about like when I get things set up like life insurance and stuff. Like how much would I leave equal amounts for both kids, and then a part, you know, obviously for the grandkid in a trust. And of course, there's if she'd stayed up here, then you know, whenever she came back home a couple years back, I thought, okay, cool, she's probably back in the will, like things are good, we're back, you know, we've trying to think what the word is when they rekindled, I guess, kind of, you know. So I was like, oh, she's back in the will, whatever. And then of course she moved this time. It's like, you know, with her not really helping out, or, you know, I wouldn't say she didn't help out, but you know how it is, like where you're putting the most of the effort, and she, for me especially, she really only calls or texts me if she needs something or wants something. Hey, Dad, I need your help with this, whatever. And it's like, as a parent, I would even settle for like the occasional call or text, just check in with you. You know, hey Dad, just check in. How you doing? She knows what time I work. She knows what days I work. You know, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Maybe eventually it'll happen, but I hope it's like one of those. It's one of those where like we're not promised tomorrow. Like we're not promised to be here. You know, the next day we could go to sleep and not wake up. So it's like, I just don't want something to happen to me or my wife, and then either of my kids, especially Allie, ends up regretting not making more effort when we were here. Because I'm trying to do that with my parents. You know, I'm trying to make effort to go down and see them, and trying to text and call, because I don't want something to happen to them and me be like, I really wish I had more time. I mean, obviously, I know I'm gonna wish we had more time anyway, because I haven't been able to get over to see them as much as I like. So, but with Allie, I just I'm hoping that things change. I'm hoping that she does get more communicative with us. You know, like message. Maybe I'm hoping they do actually come up and visit, even though I'm doubting that. So I guess it's just, we'll see. You know, because it's all about what they wanted. Obviously, they want to be together. They want to have their own place. It's like, yeah, but we're going to take on all these bills, and you know, I was like, I didn't say this to her. I was telling my youngest, I was like, well, I hope Logan is fine with taking care of her, like, you know, paying for the rent and the bills and the food, you know, being her ride places because she doesn't drive or whatever. It's like, it's gonna be interesting because they've never lived together. At that point, they just, you know, would stay a week here, a week there. Like, she'd go down and visit him, he'd come up and visit her. So it's like, you know, it was all about what they wanted. And so I'm hoping that things get better. You know, that we actually hear from them on occasion, but otherwise, it's like, that's kind of where I'm told my brother Rico, I said, am I an asshole for thinking that if we really don't hear from her, you know, she does not really making the effort? I said, I'm going to leave something for her. You know, like let's say I have $100,000 policy or something, you know, for life insurance. You know, obviously I already have something else set up technically that's what the wife would get, obviously, but of a different policy with a, you know, that where or have basically have a big policy where a chunk, like say 300 or so, would go to my wife, and then let's say it'd be 400 total. So then 50 I could see going to my youngest, and then 35 or 40 being put into trust for my grandson for when he turns like 21 or 18 or something, and like 10 or 15 go into my oldest. You know, so my thought process is she has Logan to help her, to take care of her, whatever. Like my youngest doesn't have anybody relationship wise. Like she's, you know, single, no intention of getting, you know, dating or whatever, and so she has us, you know. But also thinking that my youngest actually makes efforts with us, you know, like wants to do things with us, wants to hang out, wants to go places. My oldest never does, or never, like we'd be the ones to initiate, like, hey Allie, I did set up a movie on Saturday, like, you know, oh, okay, cool. Or hey Allie, we're gonna go to a movie on Sunday when I'm off. You know, as a family, like we got tickets for everybody, like you're cool with that? She's like, yeah. But it was never her initiating it or whatever. Hell, my youngest had done her chores and done a couple other things to like earn some money or whatever, and she actually bought tickets to go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 for the whole family, like for me, my wife, Allie, Alex, and herself. Like literally bought tickets for you know, by herself, and she wasn't working a regular job. She was just doing, you know, jobs at home that me and my wife would pay her or whatever. You know, versus like Allie, when she's working a job and getting weekly checks, never did that. I don't think. If she did, I've forgotten about it, or it's been a long time. But I don't think she's ever done anything like that. You know, like I said, rarely would actually order food for everybody. Would order just for herself and for her kid. You know, or you know, it's like at least acknowledge. You know, but so. That's why I asked my brother Rico, am I a dick for thinking that way? That, you know, I want to leave something for her, but I probably would leave a lot less than what I'd give to the other kid, not as favorites, because I don't have, neither of them is my favorite kid. I love them both equally, but to go with the conclusion to kind of close this week's episode out, that's why it's like, give and take, you know, whether it's relationships or friendships. As even though I love them both equally, I don't know if I could, like inheritance wise, I don't know if I could leave equal for everybody when my youngest, you know, has been the one making a lot more of the effort to try to have a relationship with us. My oldest has been all more like her, like she, like I said, would call if she needs something, message if she needs help or whatever, but otherwise we just wouldn't hear from her. And it's sad because obviously you want to have that relationship with him. But the approach I took, that I'm trying to, you know, venting about a little bit on this episode, but try to keep it positive, obviously. But the approach I made with her when I, you know, as far as the move was basically like, I'm just trying to be supportive. Like, well, obviously, like, if you guys need anything, let us know. Just be safe, take care of each other, whatever. Keep your kiddo safe, whatever. And you basically hope everything works out, you know, and send them off, you know. And then we've been trying to move forward here by we're changing those bedrooms into like office rooms and stuff. Like, what the hell kind of car is that? Huh. Either that or it's like I just saw this. I don't know. It was a really tall. I mean, I guess because there was a car that was not far in front of it, so it could have very well been a trailer that I saw. But the way it looked, I was like, that looks like a spaceship-looking thing, freaking cruising down the highway or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but it could have been a trailer. Like watching it, going, I must be tired because I'm seeing some weird shit out here right now. But so. You know, I haven't really done anything officially yet as far as like, you know, as far as working on setting up coverage and setting the beneficiaries, and, you know, percentages and all that stuff. It's just something I've been thinking about. Like, you know, if I did 150 to go towards Allie, Zoe, and Alex, you know, it's like, do I do 50, 50, and 50? You know, 50 to Zoe, 50 to Allie, and 50 into a trust for Alex? Or do I put 100 to Zoe and, you know, 40 to, 40 to Alex in a trust, and then 10 to Allie, and basically have a little video or a letter basically saying, like, I just want to explain why I did what I did. You know, I feel that, you know, I give effort equally to whoever's giving effort to me. Like, if you're not really trying with me, then, like, I might still try with you since you're my kid, obviously. But I didn't feel like it would have been fair to give you equal to everyone else, because, you know, like, you have your boyfriend to help you out too, and two, I was never hearing from you. Like, you know, it's like, I ain't gonna leave a big inheritance for you when we're not exactly. I mean, we're in a better place than we were a couple years ago, but still, you know, it's like, could be a lot better, could be a lot more effort being made, where I feel like you actually, like, want to talk, not just message when, like, hey, I need help. Okay. Obviously, we're your parents. We're gonna help you. We're gonna, like, we dropped everything and came up here to bring it back to Nashville. Obviously, it's gonna happen. You know, that's just how we are. You know, I didn't realize that until it actually happens. I thought, oh, screw her, like, she can go to hell. You know, yeah, she's my kid, but she did this. Like, I hope she rots. Blah blah blah. And then, of course, hey, this happened. I got kicked out. I need, you know, and my wife flew up here to see her, to reconnect, and then, of course, I got a text from a random Kansas number. Hey, Dad, it's Allie. I'm like, this is Allie? She said, yeah. I'm like, I need you to send me a selfie because I need to make sure that this is in fact Allie. And she did. She sent me a selfie, and I saw my wife in the background because they were in the car. And I was like, okay, cool, Allie, kiddo, how you doing? I was like, I'm surprised to hear from you. She's like, yeah. You know, we reconnected. She's like, I'm really sorry about how things went down, and I wanted to reach out to you like 8 months ago, but I was scared, and I was like, I wanted to reach out to you too, but I was terrified as well. So, you know, all in all, things are better. It's just, I kind of hope that things will get even better. Like, that she'll hopefully, through through having to figure out, like, daycare, basically having to take on all the stuff that we handled up here. Her having to take all that stuff on down there, like all the food, all the childcare, all the bills with her boyfriend or whatever. I'm hoping that she'll get to a point where she realizes just how much we handled for her up here and appreciates it. Maybe you know, and wants to have somewhat of a relationship with us, and actually will call and, you know, message or whatever and actually talk to us. I think her and my wife talk, but like I said with me, I heard about the move for my wife. Like, oh, she's moving to Georgia. So then I went down and talked to her. Like, oh, so I hear Logan's getting your place or whatever. That's cool. She said, yeah. I'm like, so when are you guys thinking? Like, she's like, probably June. You know, after Bubba leaves to go down to Daddy's for 6 weeks, whatever. That's when Logan's gonna fly up, or he's gonna get a moving truck, and we're gonna. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, sounds awesome. I was like, well, congratulations. You know, like, I'm glad that, you know, things are working out the way you want. She said, yeah. I was like, obviously, we would love for you to stay here, but we understand, you know, he's down there and he probably doesn't want to leave his folks, so you're going to go down there with him. So, you know, just want you to be happy. That's all we care about, you know. So, hopefully, things will get to a point where, you know, she'll be messaging me or whatever, and I'll actually feel like, you know, there's effort on both sides, not just me wanting to be there for her, but her messaging when she needs something. Anyway, y'all, been a long episode. I apologize, but hopefully some value was found in it and stuff. And so for anybody who wants to support the show, there'll be a support link on the show notes. It's a red circle donation link, whatever, with my hosting platform. Because I got to get the BlodgettShow.com website back up. I think I got to pay probably got to pay like $40 or $50. I don't know. Because I, you know, fell a little bit behind on the monthly hosting bill for a minute. And so, of course, it shows this site is suspended. So, what's funny, what I love about it is, like, literally, if I go and pay them what I owe them, literally, it's just back online and nothing's changed. Like, I don't have to set anything back up. It's just active again. I'm like, I like that. That's cool. Versus like, oh yeah, everything's gone. You got to reset it back up. Like, I'd be like, screw that at that point, you know. But I'm But so there'll be a donation link on the show notes on the episode. You can find us and follow us. Follow me. I say us, but it's a family podcast. But follow the Blodgett Show on Instagram at Blodgett Show Podcast. Anybody, if you want to reach out, you can reach us at blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com. Personal socials for me would be Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at @TNTruckerChris. You can find me on YouTube, literally at ChristopherBlodgett, and got a blog too that's literally TNTruckerChris.wordpress.com. Aside from that, like I said, working on some stuff. Probably gonna have merch here in a little bit. I've got something I'm looking into that a little bit of a plan that I'm not trying to figure out how I want to do it, but like I said, when I'm tired, it's like sometimes I'll be thinking like, all right, I have to do such and such, but I don't know. When you're tired, it's like I don't want to make a really quick decision, because then you decide something impulsively, and then it's like, crap, I should have done that. So I try to basically take a little bit more time lately to try to think about stuff. So just like with the kiddos, I'm trying to not be quick to react because of the fact that I'm tired, and it could make your fuse a little bit shorter. So it's like, if I'm needing to talk to them about something, but I'm like really, really stressed out at the moment, I'll be like, hey guys, I know we need to talk about such and such, but I'm going to go to sleep first. Can we touch base when I wake up? Because I'll feel better. Or when I wake up and we go get food, because obviously you might be hangry. Hangry and tired, never a good combination. And then once you're rested and you have some food, then it's like, all right, I feel better. Let's go ahead and have that discussion now. So, better to stop and think and try to take your time and stuff. Sometimes that's just how you gotta do it. Just take your time. Don't make a quick decision. Make sure it's the right one. Throw out a bunch of options. Think about a lot of different avenues. Basically, just decide what you think is best based on the information that you have. So that's what I've been trying to do lately. I try to be like, all right, I'm gonna take things slower because I don't want to blow up on them and then have a huge fight. It's like I'm trying not to do that. So anyway, on that note, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. You know what I would say? Keep pushing forward. Keep believing. Believe you can. Believe you will. And you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. We only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as we keep getting back up and keep trying to do what we've got to do, eventually you'll get where you want to go. There's a couple of goals, like getting this show monetized eventually after these last couple of years. I'm not there yet, but I feel like things are close. I feel like there's some action steps that I've already taken. That, like I said, with the company that asked me if I could give them till Monday to get the website up, and the articles for the episodes and stuff like that are gonna basically put the show in front of a lot more people online that might be searching for what we talk about. I'm like, hey, I'll try anything, because I just want to get to that point where I can say, hey, this show's a success. Like, obviously I feel like it's successful now because I do have downloads, but it's not up there enough to where I can do this full time yet. That's eventually the goal. And even then, it'll only be one of the streams of income, because I've got other things I'm working on too. That it's gonna be the podcast revenue that'll be able to do that full time, as well as do the merch store and monetize the YouTube channel, and just a bunch of things. What they always say, multiple streams of income is the way to go anyway. So a lot of things I'm working on. It's like I can only work so fast because I don't have a whole lot of time to spare or whatever. It's just gotta do what I gotta do with what time I got. So anyway, just keep pushing forward and do what you gotta do. Keep trying. they say the acronym for fail is first attempt at learning. So just fail at it, get back up, try something else. Fail at that, fail again, get up, try something else. So anyway, guys, you guys keep being awesome. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.